No, you can use a little more
Just
tact
walk,
than
you
that.
just
This is
walk in.
where
Hey,
like being a
hey,
good
I'm Paul. Who
salesperson.
wants to sell their house?
The, the realtor's here. I used to work it in with jokes. I'm not gonna lie. Like I used to work it in with jokes, and
I need to buy a new Porsche. I
no,
need to
it
sell
would be
someone's
more like
house.
we'd be at a buddy's house, and we're in the kitchen, and there's a bunch of us, and it's crowded. I'd be like, bro, you need some more space. It's tight in here.
That's good.
Let me send you some listings.
That's
What?
good.
And then the whole party goes like, "Oh, you're a realtor? Yeah, yeah, I'm a real estate
Hey,
agent.
that's
Oh, cool.
gold. That's
Yeah, man.
perfect, man. Like it's funny, but
Salesmanship.
yeah, it's funny, but it's also a nice like conversation starter if you're trying to like get your name
Yeah.
out there, right?
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Real Life Podcast. I'm Tyler. Paul's
Paul.
here.
I'm Paul. Still getting used to
Paul.
that. Here I am. Here I am.
We're
Welcome,
working
guys.
on the intro in case no one has picked that up over the first three, now 4 episodes.
Yeah,
We're trying to dial in the intro. We're working
I,
on it.
I like that one yesterday. Someone was like, they're like, hey, good, like, because we finally, whatever, we started by sort of introducing ourselves, and they're like, yeah, maybe you should have done that on episode one. I'm like, okay, calm down here. We have day jobs and families. We're not Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn here. Like, give us a
Yeah,
break.
that's right. We're
Yet.
two
Yet.
idiots with microphones, okay? We're
Yet.
we're figuring it out.
Yeah.
But
Anyway,
I like
what's
the
up?
episode, the last one, man. It was a good one. Good flow. If you haven't heard it, go back and check it out. It's all about physical health and the importance of it. Definitely worth a listen. Um, and we're not super experts at that, but I feel like we gave some good takes.
Yeah, we did. Actually, after we recorded it, I went and it was cold. It was really cold. And I took the opportunity to get off the couch and went for an hour walk with my buddy Austin, who lives in the
That's
neighborhood.
awesome because I also was like, I need to get in the gym.
Yeah.
Like it totally motivated me to get going. And I was like, get off your ass, go do something, be productive, be healthy. So,
It was funny though, not throwing darts at him, but he was wearing not Crocs, but like clogs, like back like in Holland, like
in
can you know like
Holland.
like I don't know if you ever seen it, if you ever worked in do you ever work in restaurants, Ty, or no?
Yeah.
Okay, like back in the day, I swear a lot of like chefs and stuff will wear those like clogs. Like it's like think of like the wooden,
I was gonna say, isn't it like a wooden shoe?
yeah, like historically from Holland, it was like a wooden shoe. And it was like a lot of
How
like
could that be comfortable?
a lot of apparently it really is, but a lot of chefs will wear um like rubber ones, right? And
Okay.
like think of Crocs, but like
No
just
holes.
exactly. So we walked for like must have been 2 miles, and he was wearing those things, man, and he was like didn't skip a beat. So anyway,
They're just clicking down the road. It sounds like a horse.
yeah, like the Budweiser commercial with all the Clydesdales or whatever. So
Yeah.
no, we
Uh,
crushed a nice couple. Do you ever had those Zevias? We talked about
oh
those
yeah.
those drinks.
Yeah, we buy those
Um,
and we buy the
yeah,
Cove
Co's are pretty good.
sodas.
Yeah, they're
Yep.
all right. They're a little bit. Some of them are a little too weird. Like the
Yeah.
orange. I don't know, a little too.
The orange one we never drink. It's the only
It's
one that's still
gross.
in the fridge upstairs. I love the blue raspberry one.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the we
good.
all fight over that one.
Well, the other thing I did too is I started stretching. So instead of just sitting on the couch, now I'll like lay on the ground, do my stretches, like because like with the lower back issue, like
Yeah.
it's just stupid. And we talked about how like part of like the health journey was realizing, okay, got to take care of the body as we age, but also as we're more sedentary and stuff. We're not just 19 running around every day, right?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. I lay on
so
the floor and watch TV every day.
well, yeah, that's what I started doing because like I got my body right, and then I just stopped doing my stretches, and then now it's tight. So anyway,
Yep.
started walking, did my stretches, going to athletic therapy later today. Like just I'm listening to the show, putting it that way. There we go.
There you go. Nice. And you got some time in with a friend,
You
which is
bang
cool.
on. Oh yeah,
You know?
100%. We had some laughs. We had some just some good times, and it's like I could have sat on the TV on the couch all night, but not only did I get exercise, I got to hang out with a pal. So, anyways, there we go.
Yeah. And that can be hard too, man. Like I know, especially this time of year, it's really busy. Springtime for us is it's go time. It's where, it's harvest time. It's where you put, the all your effort in to make your money for the year and, spending time with friends and getting out and relaxing and things like that can be very hard. It can be a challenge to prioritize that. I know, like last night, I didn't get home until about 7:30,
Mm.
and I finally sat down on the couch and I'm like going to catch the end of the hockey game, put it on, and like, this didn't happen. I actually was able to kind of relax last night, but then there'll be nights where my wife will be like, "Hey, let's go over to so and so's place, or let's go and hang out here, or hey, we've got this thing to do," and it's just like, oh, I don't want to,
Yeah, yeah,
but you have to.
yeah, yeah,
Don't lose sight of your friends and your colleagues and your family and getting out and doing those things. It's a good mental reset. But when you're a business owner, one of the things that it got this is gonna sound bad, but when I go to parties, like I love my job and I love being the person
Mm.
who knows all the info, because I can't go to a party and not be asked by somebody like, "Hey, do you know what? Can you look up that house? There's a house that sold like 2 streets over 3 weeks ago. Man, it was a piece of crap, but I'd love to know what it sold for." And before
Yeah.
I know it, I'm pulling out my phone and I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Do you know a number?" "No, I have no idea what the address is. I just know it's over there." Like, "Oh yeah, okay." Or they ask
Yeah.
you like, I'm supposed to just have every sale memorized. So yeah, it kind of at the beginning I loved it. I thought it was so cool. But now I'm like, oh God, please don't ask me about work. I just want to, we're in the backyard barbecue. It's a nice day, and everyone's like, "So how's the market?"
Yeah, so 100%. There's times when you've worked a really long day, and then all of a sudden, you've talked about one topic nonstop, and then you're there with your friends to hang out. And again, you love being the expert, and you love talking about it, but it's kind of one of those things where if it's going to get too far in depth, you prefer to just be like, hey, you know what? Let's book a call so that we're both dialed in, and I can give you accurate advice, and that also
Yeah,
protects your free time a little bit, right?
totally, man. And like, it's a tough spot because like, if my broker ever listens to this, he'll be like, "You want that? That's how you get business. You start talking, you be the guy at the party, and now you got, 6 or 7 people in a circle, and you're the expert, right?" And they're like, "Oh, this guy's really good at his job, and he knows all the stuff, and he can pull it up at the party." And like, that's definitely a real thing. And if you're an
Yeah.
agent listening, take note of that. I'm just talking about like sometimes you go to that party and like yeah you've had 3 long days in a row and today was supposed to be kind of your day off to chill and you decided to use it to go visit some friends and then you get bombarded with a bunch of questions and like it happened at a Christmas party I was at
Okay.
last year where the one guy kind of like what you were saying started just the typical casual, "How's the market? You've been busy, saw your stuff, it looks really good," which is all great, that's fine, chit chat. And then he was like, "Yeah, we've been thinking of selling." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's awesome." And of course, the business brain in me turns
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
and like party me turns off. And I'm just full like, this is now a sales call. And well, what's slowing you down? What's your timelines? Blah, blah, blah. And then it turned into this like 45-minute chat. We ended up leaving kind of like the party area and we went to this quieter part of the house. I'm like I remember taking a note going like, "Yeah, why don't you pull out your laptop, you dork?"
Yeah,
Like
no
and just
kidding,
start
right?
actually
Yeah.
showing this guy comps and stuff. But he got into it and he was telling me about the issues with his house and
Sure,
their
sure.
concerns and this and that. And then like before I knew it, like my wife was coming to find me and she was like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, hey, I'm over here. Like we're just talking to so and so." And then I remember just like the car ride on the way home, I'm like, "Man, I burned an hour of that party."
Yeah.
And then guess
And
what? Dude never sold his house.
well, and the other thing too is like yeah, it's an hour of your party, and no, and even if you enjoyed it and you were actually like, man, this is a fun conversation, and this could be something. You're there with your family, and you've now taken away an hour of like family kind of outing time, right? Like you
Yeah.
left the room to talk business. So I think with me, even if there's times that I love, and again, I do love it, but what I was gonna circle back is it's those times when someone bringing it up, maybe you've had a really stressful week, really busy week, lots of really pressing kind of difficult things, and then you've sort of finally pushed work out of your brain for the first time that day,
Yeah.
and then someone brings it up, and then you're like, not only does their question doesn't matter or stress you out, doesn't, I'm not saying it doesn't matter, it's not the question that's stressing you out, it's now you've got the flood of all those other emails and files in the back of your brain that had kind of been weighing on you all week. Now they're at the
It
forefront.
opens the door to the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
office again, right? And you were
Yeah.
like, I just closed it.
So so
Closed for the day.
in itself, it's not a bad thing. And in itself, that's how we both get paid is we do have these discussions. But then there's just like times and places when you got to kind of keep it short and then compartmentalize it. And then, but then also like you mentioned with your story, the guy didn't even sell. And so for us, for me, yeah, a lot of those times you're giving all this free advice, and then 3 days later, 5 days later, when they actually have their bank meeting, they just basically tell them everything that I said. Like, oh yeah, Paul says we should do, brrr," and then the bank's like, well, fine, we'll do that and we'll beat Paul. And so, if you give them instant on demand advice,
Yeah.
I don't know, you also sell yourself a little bit short, but also you might give bad advice. So I prefer to try, and if it's going to be anything longer than like 3-4 minutes, let's book a
Yeah.
call Tuesday kind of thing.
You know what? And that's good advice because I was actually literally going to turn on and ask you. I'm like, and I don't also want this to come across like I'm complaining either. I'm not like it's part of the gig. It's part
Sure.
of this job. When I took it, I know that. I'm aware of that. I'm not concerned about it in a way that like, I'm avoiding parties and things like that. It's just this is just more so about that odd time where, you go and it kind of comes up. And if my friends are listening to this, don't be afraid to ask me about the market. It's fine. Let's not be like, oh, Tyler doesn't want to talk about it.
No.
But I think that's like a fair bit of advice too, because I was going to ask the question, like, how do I now, so here's my concern. How do I turn that, like, what do I do with that? How do I
Mhm.
flip it? How do I
Well,
make it so that when this happens at a party and if you're listening and you're a business owner or you're in this industry as well and you are at a party and this happens, like, what can we do to
right.
flip that around and make it a positive and make it beneficial for us? And I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there where it's yeah, you turn that into a lead. You turn it
Yes.
into a business hours call. Hey man, love that
Yeah.
you're thinking about selling. You know what? This party's probably not the best place for us to get into all the details. Why don't we have a chat on Tuesday? I'm just looking at my calendar real quick. It looks like I got a chunk of time between 1 and 4. Here's the link. I'll text you the link to my calendar. Book a call.
Yep. Done.
And then it's like, hey, they're playing beer pong over there. Let's go check it out. Or
Yes. Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you're back
No.
into the party.
No, that's smart. And you know what? I think too, because for me, what's happened is if I'm out and about and then they tell me the whole 20-minute story, which I'm loving and I'm into, well, 3 days later when they actually do call to set it up, I've forgotten every piece of it. And then they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, but I'm like, can you remind me? And they're like, oh, I told you. It's like then you look like you weren't listening.
Like a
And it's like
dumbass.
exactly. So anyway, I found that yeah, like chat about it, talk about it.
Well,
And
and
then
it's good too.
well,
Because
if
like
you
I'll
quote,
forget their name.
yeah,
They'll call and they'll be like, we talked in the party. I'm like, we did? Oh yeah, you
or
guy.
or you start
What's up?
quoting yeah, you start quoting them all these options or rates, and then when you actually get their app and you pull their credit, they don't qualify for any of that, and now you've spent an hour giving them false hope on stuff that can't happen. So I
Yeah.
do love it. I love when people bring it up. I know my wife sometimes like just rolls her eyes because like everywhere we go people are like how about rates, what about this, what about that, and like I do
Yeah.
love it, and I've just learned to yeah to do it, and then it's kind of reminded me even with other people. I think of my brother-in-law who's really successful in like the like IT kind of high tech kind of realm, the industry.
Yeah.
And it'll be like 8 p.m. on Boxing Day and we're all having turkey and sitting around and I'm shopping for Black Friday sales or sorry, Boxing Day sales.
Boxing Day sales. Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
hey man, which computer's better? And I'm sure he's well, I don't know. I think he actually does like to like help, but I'm sure there's times when he doesn't want to talk about IT stuff, right? So
Yeah, and it's the same, I guess, in every industry if you think about it. Whether you say you're in retail and people are like, "Hey, I'm the family's tech support. It's a 24/7 job. You never know when you're going to get a call, and
yeah,
mom's phone is frozen, or
yeah,
dad's trying to, log on to his email and can't remember his password, and gotta jump in and save the day. But it's the same with probably every industry. Doesn't matter what it is. Our jobs are what we do. It's what we're passionate about. So naturally, people are going to ask. And when you're in the industry that we're in, it's quite normal for
oh
people to be like, "Wow, you guys have kind of a crazy job." Like,
yeah,
you know, it's big numbers. It's glamorized in the media. So people are curious, and I don't blame them for asking questions. And I do, again, reiterate, I welcome the questions. It's fine. Let's talk about it.
Yep.
But again,
Yep.
if it's going to get into the weeds, I think, moving that to a work time, where you can access data properly and, like you say, give good advice is probably the best way to go about that.
There, it's funny because like there's been times when I've gone to like places where you're trying to relax, right? Like think of like a spa or a massage or just think
I've
of
never been to the spa or a massage.
what you've never gone for a professional massage.
No.
Oh, you are missing out, buddy.
Dude, I just wreck my body and heal it with sleep.
Oh
Like last
man.
night I played hockey and hit the board so hard I feel like I got hit by a truck. My knee is not right.
Still today? Today
Well, it
still?
happened last night at 10:30 p.m. Just
Oh.
classic beer league hockey.
Well,
Yeah.
you're missing out. But I guess where I
I
was
really
getting
should. Claire
you
wants me to
should.
go with her so bad to like Thermia. I've been
Yeah.
in the lobby. I've bought a lot of gift certificates there, but
Right.
not
Yeah,
ever
it's
entered.
not for everyone. And like again, like you're wearing your bathing suit and you're going in between like sauna, steam room, pools, hot tubs. And so some people just don't like being around other people. Like you're like there's 40 people sitting in a sauna and they're in their bathing suits and they're like maybe they're uncomfortable with that. Or the other thing is like, you're walking around bare feet and like I guess I don't know, as I've gotten older, like I go to public pools at like hot at hotels
Yeah.
and I'm just like,
Yeah.
ooh, ooh.
Yeah.
Like you see like the floors and I'm like, ooh. I mean, like this spa is clean, don't get me wrong, but it's still a spa that's got 300 people going through it a day, right? Or
Yeah.
500 people.
It's just like having
Um,
a bath with a bunch of strangers just sitting in the hot tub, just like, what's
yeah,
up?
yeah. So I guess it's funny where I guess what I'm getting at is that's a legit place or a massage is a legit place where you're trying to go to like to decompress and then
Yeah.
those are like the only places where I don't really want to talk about work. But anywhere else, like we were at a Jets game and like the guy beside me, what do you do? What do you do? No, he was wearing like a golf hat and we got talking about golf and we got talking about work. And then for the whole second period of the game, me and this dude just
Oh
talked.
yeah,
And my
that would
wife
drive me
was,
nuts.
yeah, bro. No, that was on me. Like him and I were like, became buddies, like
You would drive me
bros.
nuts.
I
I'm just
know.
kidding.
I know. I know. I know. My poor wife was sitting there and she was just like, oh man. Anyway, but yeah, I think too, like with any business, and I'm sure like a lot of self-employed people out there, you know, that's part of what they do, and I think it just becomes something to do when you got to respect the family time, like because I talked about this even with the guys at the golf course the other day, where I decided this year just to take a step back and not get a full membership. I just wanted to be present for, my baby's turning 1 this year. Business is busy. We have a lot of responsibilities on the yard, the house, and I was just talking to the guys there, and I just said I'm crushed to not be back, but I knew if I got a full membership, I would be. I'm not saying I'd feel guilty if I wasn't using it, but I would definitely be going a lot more,
Oh,
right?
yeah, like that's the thing when you with a golf membership, if you're not getting your rounds in, it's not worth it, right? It's better to just scale back and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
got lots of buddies who can
It,
get you on. You'll be fine.
exactly. Well, and that's why when we were talking, I just said, "Hey," and then one of the guys there was like, "No, that's good on you, like prioritizing family." And I guess what I'm getting at is like with all of these things, work, golf, friends, if you forget about what like matters the most, what's it all for, right? Like if you're pushing your family aside to just talk about work all the time or golf all the time, then you got to find balance, right?
Yeah, and I think that's probably fair to say too that like if you're at a party with friends and you know your friends and like again this is like talking like it's taking you away from the party you're excessive, not just a quick question. It's okay to just probably be like, hey man, like I can send you an email with some of this stuff
Yeah, for sure.
or whatever, right? Like let's connect off, on another day. Let me text you about this later. And just be present in the party because or in the moment or the event or whatever it is that you're at, because yeah, it's a thing where you know what your spouse, I mean our spouses are awesome, shout out to both of them
Yeah. Oh
that
yeah.
put up with us working in this insane industry that is very unpredictable.
Hmm.
And when we do get a chance to go out and hang with friends or you know each other or go on a date or whatnot, like they deserve us to be there fully. And
Yeah.
if you're listening to
It,
this and if you're listening to it, you're probably listening to it because you're not struggling, but like it's of value to you. So remember that is that, your spouse, needs the same attention and whatever. It's the same advice I give to people on their wedding days. Like, never stop dating your spouse. You should
Hmm.
always go on dates. You should always continue to try and court them. And
Make them feel
I don't know.
special, and yeah, like
Yeah,
the
absolutely. Like that's just the way I feel. And like you say, what's it all for? Like, why do I bust my ass and work so hard? Well, it's like so that we can do these things and these nicer things and these more fun things instead of just sitting on the couch every night exhausted. Like if that's you
right,
at the
right,
end of the day, you should reevaluate like what are you doing? There's going to
right.
be days like that, but like shouldn't be all of them. You
Yeah.
should be working for, a chance to relax for a little bit, put your feet up, enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Well, that's another thing too, where like I've kind of had this mindset my whole life where it's like save, 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 and I used to not spend much at all, and
Yep.
now now as I've progressed in my career and wisened up and all the things, I've started to be like, look, like you can't take the money with you, right? You can't
Yeah.
you can't take it to heaven or wherever you think you're going.
Yep.
But like you got to leave money for the people that you love and the causes that you love too, right? But you got to also enjoy it. So like if you're going to bust your tail every single day and you don't spend it or enjoy it, like we like to give a certain percentage, save a certain percentage. Um, you need your operating costs, but then you also need to learn to spend. And so for me, that's kind of been another thing where what's it all for if you're not really enjoying it? And so, that's another thing too, where now I'm learning to unbuckle the treasure chest a little bit
Nice.
and spoil ourselves a little bit more,
Well,
right?
and
Like,
you know what? That's funny you bring that. It's I just put it in our future episode sheet here, but we're gonna do a whole episode on this, on
okay.
enjoying the fruits of your labor. Like we work so damn hard, you know, um, you should do those things. You should treat yourself. You should, buy the boat, buy
Mhm.
the watch, buy the, you
Get
know,
fitted for golf clubs or whatever. Like,
yeah, whatever that thing is for you, go ahead. But I will say in the same breath, if you're starting a business or you're just getting going in this industry,
hold off.
hang on a minute.
Yeah,
And that's what that episode will be about. It's coming in the future,
cool.
but we'll talk about when, that might be a good idea to start enjoying those fruits of your labor. But yeah, like it's something, like how do you, I guess a question I was going to ask you was, you come home from a hard day and your hours are a little more predictable than
Hmm.
mine,
Hmm.
but you're exhausted, your back hurts or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, Courtney says, "Hey, we're going here, we're going there. We're going over to Johnny and Sally's house tonight."
That's my
And like
uncle. Those are my uncle and aunt.
seriously,
Yeah,
just pulled
yeah,
those names out of a hat. But
yeah.
you're going to Aunt and Uncle's house,
Yeah.
and it's like it's not a fun party. Not saying that Aunt and Uncle's house isn't fun, but you
I
know
know
what I
what
mean?
you
Like
mean.
it's not like a
No, no,
backyard
no, no,
barbecue.
no,
Like you're just
no.
going to hang out and have a dinner or something like that.
Yeah,
You ever have nights where you just want to say no?
100%, 100%. Yeah.
And
So
you're just
like,
like, no.
yeah, I've learned too that like I've also learned to be a little more flexible with my schedule. Where I used to like be like, no, I'm at my desk 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock straight. Like that, no non-negotiable. Right? That's there.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's days when it's 9 to 7, 9 to 6. But like, lately, what I've been doing is with our daughter, if I can try and like log off around 3:30, 4 o'clock for like an hour or two,
Yeah.
then I get time with her and Courtney and we can have fun. And then when Courtney will maybe go put Reese down at like 6:30, I'll run downstairs and I'll work for 90 minutes just to get caught up, right? In the evening.
Yep.
So I'm learning to be a little more flexible with the stuff I can push off till the
Good for
evening.
you.
Yeah, like last night we did that. I finished at 4 o'clock when Reese woke up from her nap, late nap. We ripped out from 4, got home at 7, and saw family. It was great, and yeah, got back and worked. But so there's days though when yeah, like there's times when it's like hey, like let's go do this or let's go there, and I feel like I'm maybe not going to be mentally present. So what's the purpose in going? Like if I'm literally just logged off and I've had a rough day and you have to go kind of like small talk.
Yeah.
But I've also realized that we were talking that I could sit in my house alone all the time and be grumpy, or I can like, we're on this earth to like be around other people, I believe.
Yeah.
Um, and usually once I'm there, I'm good. Even if it's something I'm kind of complained about, once I'm there, and Courtney always is like, Paul, you always come back saying that was fun.
I know I'm the exact same way, man. Like
Yeah.
getting me, I'm like a toddler. Like getting me there is a pain in the ass, but once you actually get me there, then I have a good time, and then we leave, and then it's like it'd be like it's time to get going. I'm like, oh, we're going.
Yeah, or
Oh, we
like
just got here.
yeah, or I'll be like, I have nothing in common with these people. Like, why do I have to go? And then I come back, I'm like, I have a new best friend. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I don't know,
I'm
man. It's fun.
naturally like I think I'm naturally introverted for people who don't know.
Okay.
I am a homebody. I don't my default is not to go out and socialize.
Hmm.
So I guess maybe that's where even like this whole topic for this episode came from was just the fact that like for me just going to the party is like ugh.
Yep.
I would much rather host. I don't mind when people come to my house because
Huh.
then I'm like in
You're in
my
control.
space. I'm like, this is fine. People come here. But I chose to live out of the city, so getting people to come here is a bit of a challenge sometimes. But no, like, and like, I guess where my question came from is like, so big sports guy. When there's a big game on or something like that, like I
Hmm.
want to watch it. And right
Hmm.
now, my team is not in the NHL playoffs. But
No surprise there.
hey, you just wait. Those Maple Leafs, they're coming. First overall
Um,
pick, baby, Gavin McKenna.
all right.
Anyways, um, I'll like be at my desk. I'll be working really hard and like have this thought in my head. 3 hours from now, we're gonna wrap up these last few showings. I'm gonna get home. The game starts at 6. I'm gonna, make quick dinner, watch the game or catch the end of the game or whatever that's gonna be. And then it's like I've got this like image in my head of what my evening's gonna look like. And then I get in the door and then it's like I go to make dinner and it's like, oh yeah, so and so called. I think we're gonna go over here. So, just like be ready in about 20 minutes. And then the whole night just flips upside down and I'm like,
Yeah.
my no, I
I
don't
know. I
want
know.
to. I
I
don't
know.
want to go,
I know.
and like but like you say it going back to like the whole what's it all for, it's like again family time, hanging out with the wife, with the kids. Those friends are calling, and and that's the thing is because our jobs are so crazy, we don't get to see our friends a ton. Like we've got people coming over this evening, and like to just kind of hang out, and we've been trying to plan this for a damn month, and it's just we've had to keep canceling it,
But even
and
today, yeah, and even with us trying to book our times, like I'm like,
yeah.
yeah, I'll be kind of free like afternoon, and you're like, yeah, sounds good, and then you're like, oh man, my day just booked up from like 11 till 7, 11 till midnight for you, like,
Yeah, I had all afternoon open, and that's just classic realtor.
yeah,
If I tell if my friends are listening to this, and I just and Claire's like, yeah, Ty's not available anymore. It's not that I didn't want to come out.
no, no,
It
no, no,
it
no,
probably
it's real.
happened because I had a full afternoon. I was thinking, you know what? It's actually not going to be bad. I might just
Golf.
kind of relax, maybe get a tea time, and then no, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4:30, and a 6 o'clock, all popped in. Done.
So I don't even like the whole introvert extrovert thing. Like I think we're very similar. Like we're both chatterboxes. You get us out in public. Like people kind of. I'm not gonna say people are drawn to us a little bit, but like like we bring people in. We both can carry
We're
conversation.
personable.
Yeah. So like we're personable. We like to chat.
It's
I
our
don't
good
think
looks.
yeah. I don't think any yours. I don't think anyone would really say, "Oh, Paul's an introvert." Like because people when you think of introvert, you just think
I would
I
not peg you
no,
as an
I
introvert.
no. See, I would say an introvert's like someone who just sits at home and reads books 22 hours a day. Like I didn't really know what it meant, but like for me, I love hanging out with friends. Like if we'll have friends over for like games or dinner. I love that stuff. But like when we don't have like plans and when I'm not working, I love to just be at home. Like it's weird. I don't know. That's how I recharge, I think. I think after a long day I recharge when I'm by myself, but or just with Court. But um I think you have to also like as a business owner, as a parent, whatever, like you start realizing like what you need, and then you gotta make sure that you do that. So last night too, I was like, you know what? I just need to go for a quick walk and hit the hot tub and just be alone for like half
Yeah.
an hour, and
Did
then
you know
recharge.
there's a ambivert,
No.
which is in the middle? Because I saw this post the
That's
other day.
fake. That's not real.
No, well, it says like being neither a strict introvert or a strict extrovert usually means you're an ambivert, falling in the middle of the personality spectrum.
Huh.
They balance both traits, enjoying social interaction while also needing alone time to recharge. And I guess maybe, I guess that would be me. You know, I'm
Yeah.
not, I guess maybe I'm not, because I always thought, you're in one category or the other, but I guess there's probably, like a Venn diagram, there's probably a middle where they both overlap. And I guess that's what that is. But, um,
Well, how about this? What about this though? What about if you're again, my brain jumps everywhere. Clearly,
squirrel.
it's just about to jump right now. It just kind of I don't know how that jogged something, but like if you're thinking about the people that regardless of whatever personality type they are, if you know how we're saying how like when we go to parties or this and that,
Yeah.
it's fun to talk about our work to a certain extent. What about like the people that maybe are a bit more shy or aren't exactly like that, starting out their businesses? How do you get people to start asking you questions at a party? You know what I mean?
That's
Like
such
if
a good question.
full
And
circle.
like, yeah, and I think I'm so glad your brain jumped there. I think at the beginning, you have to be uncomfortable, and like if that stuff makes you uncomfortable, you just have to be uncomfortable because if you're getting into this, you need to talk to people. Like if you
Sure.
don't, you'll never sell a house. And you know, you need to go to the party, and you need to be the one that starts the conversation. I remember.
Like what? Like who wants to sell their house?
No, you can use a little more tact than
You
that.
just
This is
walk in.
where
Hey,
like being a
hey,
good
I'm Paul. Who
salesperson.
wants to sell their house?
He, the realtor's here. I used to work it in with jokes. I'm not gonna lie. Like I used to work it in with jokes, and
I need to buy a new Porsche. I
no,
need to
it
sell
would be
someone's
more like
house.
we'd be at a buddy's house, and we're in the kitchen, and there's a bunch of us, and it's crowded. I'd be like, bro, you need some more space. It's tight in here.
That's good.
Let me send you some listings.
That's
What?
good.
And then the whole party goes like, "Oh, you're a realtor? Yeah, yeah, I'm a real estate
Hey,
agent.
that's
Oh, cool.
gold. That's
Yeah, man.
perfect, man. Like it's funny, but
Salesmanship.
it's funny, but it's also a nice like conversation starter if you're trying to like get your name
Yeah.
out there, right?
And if it's not the right room for that, you go in and like, and I did this at the beginning. If we were going somewhere, I would look at solds around the house. I'd be like, "Oh, we're going over to so and so's place." I'd just pull any like recent sales in the last 30 days. It takes 2 seconds for us to look that up.
Sure.
Then when I got there, I got this little conversation piece in my pocket, and I go, "Oh, man, did you see that house like down the corner? It sold for 30 grand over list." Oh,
Ooh.
really? Yeah,
Yeah.
man, like it's hot in here right now. You want to sell? And then they go, "No, no, we're good
Yeah.
we love this house. We're not moving." You're like, "Okay, scratch that name off the list."
Cool.
But
No.
we'll work on to the next one. But no, it's always good to like, if you're going to that party and you're going to talk about it, and this is a good tip for if you want to flip that, people come to you, like be prepared. People will call and ask you for business if you're perceived as the expert, and like, what's an expert? They
Yeah.
know their shit,
Yeah.
so or their
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And pull a few sales, and have a couple screenshots in your back pocket. I mean, we all have an app too on our phone. You don't want to be on your phone at the party, but like, if the conversation goes that way, you can pull stuff pretty quick. You can look up addresses, because then what the way that conversation always goes, like, "Oh man, did you see that house down the street? It sold for way over." "Oh yeah, I saw one in my neighborhood. It was so busy. I wonder what that one sold for." "Oh, well, what neighborhood do you live in?" "Well, I'm in North Kildonan." "Okay, let's pull it up." Before you know it, you're looking up 30 different properties, and but then at that point, everyone's like, "Oh, this guy knows his stuff. Tyler's awesome, man. Like, yeah, if we ever sell, I'm totally going to use it." And I've had people refer me to their friends. It's like they're not selling, but they know someone who is. Like, everybody knows somebody
Yeah.
who is
What about
buying or selling. So
what
it's
about
part of
like
the gig.
and I know that like, it's not just realtors and mortgage experts that listen to this, but like whatever business you run or if you're even working for someone else, like it's all good. It all can be pertinent. But what about have you ever had that where it's uncomfortable if you know them too well, or it's like family or close
Mm,
friends? Are there ever times when, and like put it this way, it could be a roof install, it could be if you're in HVAC, it could be whatever. Because I find
yep.
that like let's just say, I think some people because they know a guy or a girl, they're like, oh yeah, I can like call my friend at 8 p.m because I'm having issues with my
Yeah.
water tank. So they call a plumber, I guess, and they ask him questions maybe.
Yep.
And uh
Yeah.
and uh and then what was I gonna get at? and then maybe their friend feels kind of forced to like run down there and help. Or I guess what I'm getting at is
Yeah.
in every job, there's going to be times when maybe friends quasi take advantage of you, but also you being the service provider, are there ever times when it's more difficult because it is friends and family?
Oh, 100%. And I've sold friends and families houses, and like it's tough too because like it's harder. I found those ones to be challenging because it was harder to be more like honest, right? When
Yeah.
you're hired by a total stranger, for me it's a lot easier to walk in Gordon Ramsay style and be like, "This is shit."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Not that I would do that, but like it's, you can be a lot more transparent with like this needs to get fixed, that needs to get fixed, that needs to get fixed. Whereas with friends, maybe you understand why the house is the way that it is, or you understand their financial situation a little bit better, and you understand like, well, they don't have the ability to, replace this window and the roof before we sell. Whereas like with strangers, I'm like, you should do that,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And then we'll talk about it afterwards, whether it's a possibility. So you kind of go into it a little more, I guess, like softer, maybe. I
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
anyway. And um, I tend
Right.
to use those ones, and it's a little more like, let's just work with what we got, right? Unless I know they're in a position where they can do those things. And of course, that's the advice they get. But
Right.
yeah,
Right.
it's tough sometimes when you're working with friends and family to be super honest isn't the right word because like I'm always honest, but
Objective. Objective. Yeah. Like
yeah,
where
yeah,
you're
you
just
kind of
like,
get yeah,
yeah. Well, no, and I've had that, and like the way that my brain went there was because when you're thinking about parties, family gatherings, like those are all people that you love and you care about, and again, some of the parties you're just meeting people for the first time, like you said. But when it's your
yeah,
pals and your friends in the little hockey locker room after your game or whatever it is, like, I find that, you know what, when it's someone that you like or sort of not like, someone that you care about and have a relationship with prior, you sometimes want to make it easier for them, and so then you don't want them to maybe have to jump through all the normal hoops because you don't want them to feel, oh, why is Paul making me do all this, right? Versus other clients, I just, so whatever. I'm very thorough. You can
yeah,
talk to other mortgage brokers that would literally just in a 13-minute call be like, you're pre-approved, you're good to go, without even seeing an app, without seeing docs. Like
yeah.
there's people that work like that. I'm the opposite. I say fill out my application form, and then my assistant's going to send you a list of all the documents we need. Once you've sent them all in, then we're going to have a Zoom or a phone call, and then we're going to talk about your whole situation. Whereas, like, I don't
Check
want
all
to.
the boxes
Well,
first.
because yeah, because then when I meet and I give you advice, if all of a sudden down the road I get your paperwork and it doesn't line up, now you've been shopping for 8 months for a home that you can't afford.
Yeah,
So,
wasted everybody's time.
waste everyone's time and maybe put them in like a precarious legal situation where they've maybe offered without conditions and now they can't back out. So I am very thorough, but with where I'm getting at is if it's like friends or family and I'm like, and they're asking all these questions, you know, I sometimes I'm like, oh, like, okay, if I send them the link to my app, they're gonna think that's cold. And then if I instantly ask for all these docs, they're gonna think that. So sometimes when I first start out, I would try to like maybe not go as thorough. And then I started realizing that like I don't ever want to make a mistake, so especially with
Especially
friends
with
and
friends or
family.
family.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm getting at is like I think more than anything, I've learned to keep it professional as I can with friends and family because they're the ones that I'm not saying you care about the most, but it's
Well,
awkward
yeah,
if
they're closer to you, right? They're naturally they're the success of their transaction matters a little bit more. And I think too, like they know the most about you and how you work and why you've been doing so well. So therefore, we want the same treatment, right? Like they want the same, they want the Paul experience,
yeah, that's
right?
true.
So
Yeah, yeah. Well,
why change it?
yeah, and it's tough, right? Because like when you talk about this stuff, like talk about hanging out with your friends or going to parties and leaving work maybe at the doorstep. Like there's been times when, for instance, like the market's turned or interest rates really moved drastically. Months after one of your friends bought, and then every time you see them, they make a little side comment about, oh, I really wish we wouldn't have taken that one, and that's
Mm.
maybe a product that you thought would have been a good fit for them. And again, no one knows. So this is the part that's difficult is you have to wait 5 years to know if the term you chose was the one that saved you the most money, right? Because there's fixed, there's variable, there's one,
Oh
two, three,
yeah.
four, 5, 7, 10 years. So when you're picking fixed variable, and then all those different year options and the amortization options and the prepayment options,
It's a lot.
you won't know which was the best one until the future, until you can look backwards, right? So
Well, I mean, think about this, dude. Like, I go to a buddy's house. I sold their house, 4 years ago, and it's like now the neighbor's house sold for 100 grand more. And they're like, "Oh yeah, you told us it was the best time to sell." And I'm like, "Well, it was. Like, what do
yeah.
you what do you want me to do now? I can't see the future. Like, the
Yeah.
market continues to go up, right? So,
Yeah.
I actually have that situation where like we had a successful sale with a friend, and it was awesome, and they were super happy. But like the neighborhood that house was in has exploded, and now they're selling for like the same house would sell for almost 100 grand more, and it's only been a couple of years. But like, you know,
Yeah. You don't know. And
what am
so
I supposed to do? Like go
no, I
back in
know.
time?
And
It's
again,
tough.
no one,
And it
no
sucks because
one.
they're there all the time. They're just always around, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
No. And yeah, so I guess what I'm getting at is like, I've also really stopped giving my advice, which you might sound as weird, right? Like as a mortgage expert, but it's one of those things where I present the options now. So I remember
yeah,
back when the whole garbage shutdown of our country happened during those couple years there. There was drastic movement in interest rates, and people would often ask, which one should I take, this or this? And I would say, well, it's a unique decision and it's based on everyone's own financial standing and risk tolerance. And then they'd say, well, what are you taking? And I'm like, well, I'm currently in this product. So a lot of people maybe took a product that it looked really good and shiny, like a variable, for instance,
yep,
that was really low at the time. But I always preface it by saying, like, it's at its low. It's really low. The only way it can go is up, right? Now,
yeah,
the Bank of Canada, the government said that they're not really going to raise their rates, which means that these rates likely shouldn't for a couple of years.
yeah,
Well, 3 months later, they skyrocketed. And so I've just stopped I after that experience, because everywhere
yeah.
I would go, people would be like, "Oh, I really wish I wouldn't have taken that variable." I'm and they're not calling me out, but
No,
kind of.
but it's a little comment, right? And it's, you
Yeah, and
know,
it's like a little barb. So now I'm just like, when people ask me, I say, well, here's the pros and cons of a 3 year, a 4 year, 5 year fixed, and a 5 year variable. Pros and cons. You choose. Well, Paul, what would you choose? Well, that doesn't really matter because like we have
yeah,
different risk thresholds. I'm 10 years older than you, and have two incomes, and my wife and I. And so for us, we've chosen that, but that might not be what's right for you. And so I don't know. I've just realized that you can't please everyone also. So
no, and then you know what? That's probably a good way to. It's a good thing to end the kind of show on here. To kind of end the show on here. Um, just if you're working, you go to these parties and you go and you're hanging out with friends and work comes up, which it will. I think that's a really good advice is to just like try to, not give super strict advice. Be be neutral about it. Move it to work time. And if you're in this industry when you're working with friends and family there is like you say, yeah, like give good advice, but try to I don't tell people what to do either. It's always pros
yeah,
and cons, right? We're
yeah,
advisors. That's
yep,
our job. It's not our job to tell you what to do. It's our
right.
job to say,
Here's
well,
your
here's
options.
the potentials of this route and here's the potentials of that route. Which one are you most comfortable with? And so long as you do that and make a few jokes at the party, you'll probably get invited back and you might even pick up a deal or two.
Well, and the other thing too is maybe the real decision maker isn't even in that conversation. The 1 hour conversation that you had at that party, maybe the decision maker wasn't in that conversation, right? So
Yeah, maybe she was somewhere else.
100%. So that's the thing is
She's in the
like,
other room,
yeah, that's the
not
thing is
even
like,
listening.
my boss was not boss, but my head broker. He was talking with the other day. He basically said like, you can have the 1 hour conversation with the one client, and you can have that 13 times. We wouldn't maybe have 13 1 hours, but
Yeah.
13 phone calls in the span of a month with one person, and then you realize after all those phone calls that you should have been having the other person either in the call, or it should have just been with the other person, because that's the person that makes the
Yeah.
decision. So anyway, yeah, you can't do that at
Yeah.
a party or on the street. So yeah, I think the moral of the story, like you mentioned, is make those connections, get out there. But once it starts getting too heavy into specifics, then yeah, show yourself as a professional, and it also makes you look a little bit more desirable, not hard to get, but also like, hey, this guy's a professional. He'd rather prefer to talk about it during work hours, and that way you can give me just really focused advice. So yeah, I think that was a great
absolutely.
learning.
That's exactly what I was trying to say there. It's exactly you summed it up beautifully.
Love that.
All right, folks. Well, that's another episode of the Real Life Podcast. Thanks for listening, and Steady Eddie here. We'll see you next week, next Wednesday.
See you next Wednesday. Thanks, guys.